So let's go down just one level in the spirit of OSPO 101, and we'll talk about what an OSPO does. Um, so first off, establishes and maintains formal policies for your company's approach to open source. So this is often done in consultation with technical leadership as well as legal. Sets development guidelines around use of open source. So I find this part incredibly helpful. This doesn't need to be some complex document. This might simply be the takeaways that are most helpful to a developer. Perhaps the OSPO has an internal FAQ or wiki page on what the OSPO process might look like or who to contact with additional questions. License compliance, this may include running scans or reviewing scans. This should hopefully involve some kind of governance, especially when the reviews have produced results that might be inconsistent with company policies. Even more broadly than license compliance, the OSPO can often produce essential documentation such as notice reports, license notice reports, security reports, SBOMs, which helps identify and mitigate potential risks throughout the software development lifecycle. And if you're part of a supply chain, this can also include identifying any upstream security or licensing risks that might eventually make its way to you and your organization. If you're interested in learning more about the license side or the compliance side, we'll be doing a session right here with LeanAppSec in October. So this part might be underutilized, cultivating a company culture, but it's super important to cultivate that culture that's aware of why this is important. So when we're doing our training and education sessions for companies, I want developers to know that what they've chosen from what may be a purely technical perspective has other potential implications for things like intellectual property, permission for use, depending on the license, security, depending on the component and version. Educating on risks. This ties in a bit with my previous point. It's important for the OSPO to spread the message throughout the organization as to why managing open source is so important and what they can do to help. This can help guide and then reduce friction for stakeholders, which is important. So not just developers, but also legal, other leaders, procurement. And not the least important by far, but often one of the last considerations for organizations. Right or wrong, most organizations are concerned around the risk they incur from use and distribution of open source before they consider what to do about engaging externally, whether with a particular project they may significantly use or heavily depend on. Your trusted partner in open source management.